Hello friends and welcome back to Digitalk. So in the previous session we have learned how we can run the WebLogic in the Docker container, okay, and specifically we have pulled up the image from the Oracle Container Registry, okay, and which has the script to create the domain, right? So this is the link of that session. If you have missed that one, you can check this link in the description of this particular video as well. Okay, so that was very straightforward to pull the image from the Oracle Container Registry and then spin up the admin containers, okay, because the script was inside the image, okay, which we have pulled from the Oracle Container Registry. Okay, now what we are going to cover in this particular session is, in this session we will pull the same WebLogic image from the container registry, but instead of using the default script that is provided by the Oracle for creating the domain, we will create our own script, okay, for creating the domain. Okay, and importantly for that we are going to use the WebLogic WDT tool, okay, which is a WebLogic deploy tooling. Okay, so this is the recommended tool from the Oracle. Okay, specifically if you are going to work on the DevOps and like the middleware technology, it's not specific to WebLogic. You are working on the multiple middleware product which is going to be implemented in the container, Docker container, or maybe in the Kubernetes as well. Okay, so to deal with the domain in your Fusion middleware. Okay, so this is the recommended tool. You go with the WDT, which is the WebLogic deploy tooling. Okay, so this is the link to download. It is a free open source. You can download it, and this is the link for the certified Oracle GitHub repository. Okay, so here we can download the corresponding version of this WebLogic deploy tooling. Okay, so there are multiple purpose of this tool. It's not specifically to create the domain when we are working in the DevOps. Okay, we can use it for multiple purpose. For example, when we are migrating the WebLogic server or middleware. Okay, so we can use this tool for the domain migrations as well. Okay, so now let us come to the action plan. So what we are going to do doing in this action plan. So first again same, we will pull the pre-built WebLogic image from the container registry. Okay, but we are going to extend that image. Okay, so we will extend that image with our own scripts that we will create to create the domain and using the WDT. That means WebLogic deploy tooling. Okay, so in that case, what we will do, we will create a project structure. Okay, so in this project structure, we will have the some files like the model.yaml file. Okay, so this model.yaml file is the main blueprint, okay, of the domain that we want to create. Okay, like for example, we have a domain with the username, password, domain name, admin server, manage server. So whenever we create the WebLogic domain with the help of graphical wizard, we enter all the details, right, in the graphical wizard. So similarly, when we are going to create it with the help of a script, so we need to provide the domain details. Okay, so all the domain details in your this deploying tooling, we have to define in a model file. So this model file is a blueprint of the domain. Okay, so first we will create the model file, and this is the content of our model file. Sorry. Okay, so here we have a domain info where we are providing the username and password for the admin console. Then inside the topology, we will define the name for our domain. And inside the server topology, we are going to define two servers. One the admin server, second is the manage server, and this is the listen port. So it's a very simple, straightforward domain that we are going to create with only one admin server and one manage server. Okay, so now this model file has a specific syntax. Okay, which is based on this deployment tooling. This particular, okay, what I was talking about here, WebLogic deployment tooling. So that means if you are going to work in the DevOps, specifically in the middleware technologies, okay, and you want to, or you are going to work on the migrations of your Fusion middleware or the WebLogic from on-premise to cloud, or from one on-premise to on-premise or cloud to cloud, so that is going to help you there as well. Okay, and I have posted a few videos on this WDT tool as well in our channel, so you can search for the WDT and then you will get the link of those sessions as well. Right. So now what we are going to do, we will pull the image, and that image we are going to extend with our scripts, okay, to create the domain. So this is the very first model.yaml file, which is the blueprint of our domain. Okay, and then we will create a small script which is going to create the domain. Okay, so for creating the domain, we will have a script create domain.sh, and which is again part of this WDT tool. Okay, so as I said, this WDT tool has a blueprint file which is called the model file, and then it has multiple other files as well, like to create the domain. So for creating domain, there is a script called create.domain.sh, and we have to provide the argument like Oracle home. What would be your Oracle home? Okay, for example, here this is the Oracle home, and then your domain home, where you want to create your domain, and importantly the model file, because this model file is a blueprint, right? from where it is going to take, what is the name of your domain, username, password, admin server, manage server, listen post, etc. So this is the syntax of your WDT file. Okay, and you can get a more clarity on this particular syntax when you are going to learn the WDT. Right. So as of now, what you can understand, WDT is a WebLogic deploying tool that we use to create the domains. Okay, and for that we have to create a model file which contain our domain information. Okay, so similarly, there are multiple tags are here for the model file. If you want to create the JDBC resources, you want to create the JMS resources, any resources, for that we have a standard tags. And inside that tag, we define the corresponding resources. Okay, so now first our this model file will be ready with our domain blueprint. Then we will create a we will create a script, small script to create our domain. This is a command that is going to initiate the creation of domain, and this will be inside the create-domain.sh script. This one, right? Then we will create a script to start the admin server. Then we have a script to start the manage server. Then we have the most importantly Docker file. Why Docker file? Because we are going to extend the default image that we are going to pull from the container registry, right? So that image we have to modify with our content, right? So that means we have to use a Docker file, and in this Docker file we will define all the syntax, okay, that will make our custom image, right? So now if I scroll down here, so this is now clear, domain creation script. Then this is a script to start your WebLogic admin server. Okay, simple. You will go inside the domain, and then with the help of exec, we are going to start the admin server. Similarly, to start the manage server, we'll go inside the domain, and we'll use the standard syntax for starting the manage server, right? The start manage weblogic.sh, your manage server name, and then your URL of your admin server. And again, this will be with the help of exec command. Okay. Then this is the important is the Docker file. Okay, so this Docker file, what we are going to customize the image. So this is the image from which we are going to pull from the Oracle Container Registry, and this we are going to define in our Docker file, because we are going to customize this image. So that means our image that we are going to create will be based on this particular image which we have pulled. And what is the customization that we are going to do inside this? So first we are going to define use as a root. So user will be root, so that it will do some operations. So it will copy this complete WDT folder from local system to OPT WDT. Okay, so this WDT, as I said, this is a tool that we need to download, right? So we can download this one, and once it is downloaded in the local system, so when we create our this particular Docker file, okay, so here we can copy this WDT complete folder inside the container. This is a location where we will copy inside the container. Similarly, we will copy the model YAML file inside the container. We will create our create domain script inside the container. We will copy our start admin and start manage server script inside the container, right? And then this is just we are doing the replacement of some special character. So whenever we copy the file from our Windows to our Linux, okay, Linux based system, so sometime it gets some special character. So this is just a command which will remove all the special characters from all these scripts, okay, inside the container. Then we will change the mode of all the script inside the container. We will give the execute permission, and then we'll change the user to Oracle. So this is a simple Docker file. What we are doing here, we are doing the customization of our image. So this is the image that we are going to pull from the container registry of the Oracle, and then whatever the customized files that we have created, everything we are going to copy inside the new image that we are going to build, right? So this is a simple command, right? This is the Docker login command, which with the help of that we are going to log into the container registry of the Oracle to pull the image, and then we are going to pull this particular image from the container registry. Okay, and once this image is pulled, so we are going to build our Docker file image, our custom Docker file. So this is a Docker build command that we will be used to create our custom image. So this Docker build command is going to use this particular Docker file, and this is going to create a new image, which is our custom image, which will contain all of our custom scripts that we are going to create the domain and to start and the admin server and manage servers. Okay, so we are going to create a separate network for the Docker for our WebLogic. Okay, we are not going by the default network, so we will create one network for in the Docker for our WebLogic. Okay, and then what we will do, we will create domain once. So once we have the image is ready, okay, so we need to create the container. right? So we will create the domain inside our particular image that we have already created. Okay, so for that we will run the docker run command. Okay, and this is a one time command. Okay, this is a one time command that we are going to use to create the domain. So this domain will be based on the create domain script that we have created. Okay, and this will be based on this particular image that we will build here, right? So once this one time command is executed to create the domain, so then we can spin up our admin server and manage server. So this is a command. Okay, so all these syntax, everything I have explained in my the previous session, right? This one where I have explained all everything in detail, the each and every command, each and every option I have explained in detail. So if you have missed this session, you can go through this session as well. Okay, which will be, you can say, base before you are going to execute this particular lab exercise. Okay, so I have given the link in the description of this session. You can check it from there. So once your Docker admin container manage server container has started, okay, we are going to access the admin console and check whether it is working or not. Right. So this is a complete end-to-end action plan. So let me give you a complete recap what we have discussed so far, what we are going to execute in this particular lab exercise. We are going to pull the pre-built image of the WebLogic from the Oracle Container Registry. Then we are going to modify that particular image with our custom scripts. And what is our custom scripts? We will create our own domain based on the WebLogic deploy tooling. Okay, and for that we are going to create a model file. Then we are going to create a script to create the domain, where we will create the domain using the WDT syntax. Then we will create a script to start the admin server, manage server. Then we will create our Docker file to build our custom image. Okay, based on the image that we are going to pull from the container registry. Okay, and then we are going to create the domain. This is a one time task, and then we are going to spin up the admin server and manage server. Okay, so now again, before I go for the execution, there are multiple ways for the executions, specifically when we talk about the DevOps and the Docker, Kubernetes and the WebLogic. There are multiple ways. Okay, so in the previous session, what I am referring here, okay, we have used the WLST script, which is a pre-built included in the image. Okay, that is provided by the Oracle itself in the image. So in that particular session, we have used the WLST script to create the domain, right? What is the main difference here in this session? We are not using the WLST script. We are going to create the domain with the help of WebLogic deploy tooling. Okay, so that's why what I'm explaining here, there are multiple ways to execute a specific task. Okay, specifically like creation of a domain, creation of the different resources. So you can use WDT, you can use the WST as well. It is completely based on your expertise. Okay, on which scripting tool or in which you are expertise, you are expert. Okay, but I would recommend, instead of the WLST, go and do the study of this tool, which is the WDT, which is a very straightforward and easy to understand tool. Okay, you can write the files in a human readable formats. You can easily update the files, and with it quickly, like WST need a very good hands-on experience. Okay, but WDT give you the way to read and write and understand the thing very quickly. Okay, so you can understand this very easily. So you can use the WDT for your DevOps project if you are going to work on WebLogic or any of the Fusion middleware products. Right. So this is the action plan that we are going to execute. So now let me go ahead and execute everything step by step so that you have better clarity. So the step number one, we have to download this deploy tooling. So let me go to this URL. Yeah, okay, so I'm there. So here I will go for the latest version, which is 445. Okay, and we can click on this weblogic-deploy.zip. Okay, so now you can see this is almost downloaded. So now let me go inside the download directory. So I will take it and I will paste it here. So this is my project folder. Okay, D, inside the D I have created WDT lab. Right, so this is the same folder I was referring here. Right, so here I have copy pasted. So now I will extract all the contents. Okay, this is an open source tool and very small tool. Okay, so it is extracted now. Okay, so this will create the WebLogic-deploy, but I am going to use it as a with the name of WDT. Okay, so what I will do here, what I will quickly here, I will create a, let me close this. I will quickly create a folder with the name of WDT, and I will copy all the contents from here, okay, to my WDT folder, and then I'm going to delete this one. Okay, so now I have a WDT folder where I have copy pasted all the content of the tool that I have downloaded, right? So this WDT part is complete inside my project folder. So the second part is now I am going to create a directory for in my local system, okay, because I am going to map my domain, okay, in my local system. Okay, so my domain is not will be inside the container. So the domain will be in my local system, okay, and that is going to map to the container. Okay, so this is the mostly the approach that we follow when we work in the WebLogic in the containers. Okay, we create the domain in the local, okay, local file system, and then we map that particular domain which is in the local file system to the inside the container. Okay, so this will be the directory that I am going to use, okay, in my local system for my domain. So yeah, so this is the directory that I have already created. So inside the D, WLS Docker, and then domains. Okay, so this you can see as of now it is blank, right? Because it's a simple directory that we are going where we are going to create our domain, right? So we have created a directory in our local system for the domain, which is going to map inside the container. Second, I'm going to create a model ML file for our domain inside my project directory. So this is my project directory. So here I will create a file model.yml. So txt extension I will remove later. Okay, and here I will just copy paste all these contents. So we are going to create a domain with the name of base domain. This is our admin server and port, manage server and port. This will be our username and password. Let us save. This is, let me close it. Then we are going to create a script to create the domain, which will be based on the WDT syntax. Okay, so let me go here and create the file, create domain.sh. So here I will just copy paste all the contents and I will save it. Okay, so here you can see what we are doing here. We are using the create domain.sh script, which will be run inside the bin directory of WDT. Okay, and this WDT inside the container is going to copy from our local system. That means this is a WDT directory, right? So if I go here WDT and bin, so here you can see there are multiple scripts. Okay, so this is a create domain.sh script which is going to be called for creation of domain, right? So this is my script for domain. So let me close this. The second is I'm going to create a script to start my admin server. So let me create it here. This is start admin server. I will just copy paste all the content and then save. Then I will create a script to start my manage server. New, okay, manage server, and I will copy paste all the contents from here. Okay, then I'm going to create a Docker file. So whenever we run the build command to build the image, okay, your Docker is always look for a file with the name of Docker file D capital in your local directory from where you are going to run the build. Okay, and so that's why we are using the same name Docker file. We can override this as well. Okay, if you would want to use some different name, we can give a different name for this file, and then we can use the -f. That is one of the other option if you don't want to go with the default file. So let me save it. So our Docker file is also created. Okay, so now our all files are created based on the project structure, right, that we have given here. Now what I will do, I will quickly go here and I will remove the .txt extensions. This third. So our project structure is ready, right? This is a project structure which I have explained here. This is ready now. Okay. So now what we will do, we will first log into the Docker container registry, and then we are going to pull this particular pre-built image from the container registry of Oracle. So here I will run the Docker login. Okay, so I have already logged in earlier. Okay, that's why the login is succeeded. Okay, and but if it is the first time, you need to provide the username and then token, not the password. Okay, what is the username? I have explained in the previous session in detail. Okay, but let me tell you again. So you have to go to the container registry, container-registry.com. You can create your free account, login. Once you log in to here, then this is your username, whatever you have used to create the account. And when you log in here with the Docker login, here it will prompt you for the password, but it is not going to work with your password which you are going to create in this particular website or registry. So you have to come here, click on the auth token. Once you click on the auth token, so you have to create a new secret key here. So, okay, I have already created. So you once you will create a new secret key, you can copy paste and you have to give here as a password. Then your login will work. So this I have explained in very detail in the previous session. Right. So now our login is done. So we are going to pull this particular image. And what is the meaning of this image? This is again I have explained in detail in the previous session. Okay. This is my container registry, and here we have to go to the middlewares. Okay, so inside the middleware we have to go to WebLogic, and there we have the multiple images and corresponding tags, right? So this is the complete URL of that particular image and tag. So let me run this command to pull the image. Okay, so this will take some time, okay, because this I think this already downloaded in my system. It is there in cache, so it is fast. But if in case in your case, if it is a new image, this is going to take some time because the size is 1.98 GB, somewhere around 2 GB. So it will take some time to pull the image in your system. Okay. So this is the middleware container registry. So here we can go to the WebLogic. Let me see where it is. WebLogic. Yeah, this one WebLogic. Okay, so here we have multiple images for each and every versions of the WebLogic server. So for demo purpose, I have taken the 12214 image with this particular tag. Okay, so this is the URL for our container registry. This one. Inside that we have clicked on the middleware, right here on the middleware we have clicked, and then this is the image name and this is the tag. So WebLogic, this is the standard syntax till here. Okay, and make sure you are specifying the corresponding tag. So 12214. So in our case, this image is going to download. Okay, so anyway, you want to use some different images. So these are the tags that you can use. Right. So for that, you can just check my previous session where I have explained everything in detail. Okay. So now this image has been pulled, right? So now we are going to build our custom image based on the Docker file that we have created. So now I will run the build command. Okay. So now this is building the custom image. Okay. And you can say what it is doing. It is copying all the content inside the new image. Okay. So what we are doing, we are utilizing the existing image and we are modifying this image with our customizations. Okay, and the new image will be created with this name and this tag. This is the new name for the image and this is the new tag. So if I go and check for Docker images, now you can see this was the image that we have downloaded from the WebLogic container registry. Then we modified this image and we have created our own version with the customizations, right? We have copied our own script inside the container. Okay, so that means our this particular custom image is ready. So then you can create a Docker network for this. So I think I have already this network there. So it will give me that it is already exists. So if it is not in your case, if it is not there, so it will create a new network for you. Okay, and then this is the first time command that you need to run. Okay, to create the domain. So what we are doing here, we are using the Docker run command. RM will automatically delete this temporary container. And you can see what we are doing, -v volume mapping. So we are mapping our local domain folder to the container registry. Okay, sorry, to the container. And this is the image that we have created. And this is a script that is going to create the domain. So that means this is our local folder that we have created for the domain in our local system. So this is going to map with this particular path inside the container. This is going to use this particular image, which is our custom image that we have done created. And this is a script we have created and copied inside the U01, right here. And so this will create the domain for us. So let me run this command. Okay, so as of now you can see we do not have any content here in the local file system in the domains. So once the domain is created, okay, you can see all the content in your local file system as well. Okay, so you can see this is the domain that is going to be created using the create domain.sh, and this create domain.sh, if I show you here again, okay, okay, this is calling the WDT tool, and this is a command it is using. So this will be our Oracle home. That means this is the Oracle home inside our container where the WebLogic is installed, and this is the domain directory that is going to create inside the domain. Okay, using this particular model file. Okay, so now you can see it is creating the domain. So it's a simple domain where we are just creating one admin server and one managed server, right? So it will be very quick. It is not going to take time, but if you have multiple resources inside your domain, then definitely it will going to take some time in your case. Okay, so you can see all the updates here as well, whatever the resources that it is creating. You can see it is now executed successfully. There is no server 0, warning 0, successfully completed. Now if I show you in my local system, you can see now the domain is created in my local system as well, right? So this is the path in my local system, and this domain will be mapped inside the container. Okay. So now, so we have done with the domain. So we are going to start our admin container. Okay, and then we'll start the manage container. So this is the command, docker run command that we use to spin up the container in the detached mode. So that means as soon as you will run the command, you will come back on the prompt. This will be our container name. This is the network that we have created here for our this particular WebLogic setup. Port mapping, we are doing the port mapping. So inside the container, the admin port is 7001. To access it from the local system, we have to map a local port. So this is the port in my local system, right? And this is the volume mapping for the domain. And this particular container will be based on this image. And then it is going to call start admin.sh script, which we have already created and copied inside the image. So let me quickly run this one. But before that, let me show you. As of now, we don't have any running container. Okay, so now you will see a running container. Okay, so it is starting, right? So it will take some time. The container is spin up okay quickly, but because inside the container, what we are doing, we are starting the admin server. So it may take some time. Okay, when you are starting the container, okay, it will take some time to start your admin server. So admin console will not come up immediately. You have to wait for some time. Okay, and you can just run this docker ps command again to check the status. Okay, so okay, so this is the second command that is going to start the manage server. So this I will show you later. Once first we will validate our admin console, and then I will show you this command. Okay, and now you want to, if you want to go inside the container and you want to see the logs or anything, okay, so you can go inside the container. But because the domain is in our local system as well, right? So this is our domain which is in local system, which is mapped inside the container. So you can check the logs from your local system as well. You don't need to go inside the container. You can go to servers, similar to our local domains, admin server logs, and this is your admin server logs. Okay, you can see here if your admin server is starting or not, or if some error is there. Okay, and what is the current state of your server as of now. So everything you can see here as well, because the domain is in your local system, which is going to map inside your container. Now you want to go inside the container, so simply you can run the docker exec -it, the name of your container, and then it's bash, which shell, bash shell. So now we are inside the container. You can see we are inside the container. Okay, and what is the location that we have mapped inside the container for domain? This one. So you can go here, and here you will see the base domain. Okay, and then you can go to servers, then admin server, then logs. Okay, so here you can see admin server logs. So as of now, we are inside the container. Okay, and this domain is mapped in our local system here. So that means, suppose I create one file here, one txt file I have created here. So this will be visible inside the container as well, because this is the main domain which is in a local system, which is mapped inside the container. So whatever the changes that you are doing in your local system here, local domain, it will be reflected here as well. Okay. So now if I list here, you can see new text document visible here, which I have created in my local system. Right. So now I will quickly try to access the admin console. Localhost 7001/console. Okay, so now you can see it is the first time it is deploying the console. So that means our domain has been created, admin server has been started, right? Properly. Okay, so now I will log in with the same username and password that I have given in my model YAML file, which was WebLogic and WebLogic 123. Okay, let me check WebLogic. Okay, let me check the again the name. Okay, what was that? WebLogic and WebLogic 123. So let me copy paste. Maybe I have some problem with the key. Okay, now it is working. So now you can see we can able to access the admin console, and if I click on server, so admin server is running. So manage server is not running because as of now we have not started the manage server container, right? So to start the manage server container, you can go again and then you can initiate this particular command. So command is same just like we have run for admin servers. Docker run -d for detach mode. This will be the name of our container. We are going to use the same network which we have used for the admin server, so that they can contact with each other, right? Because they belong to same network. And then for manage server, we are going to use the port 8001, and then we have a local mapping of the domain. And this was the script we have used for creating the starting the manage server. So now let me go here and initiate this. So if I see here Docker PS, you can see now the manage server container is also initiated, which is starting. Okay, and if I go back here and let me refresh the screen, so it will take some time to come up and then to reflect the status here. Okay. Okay, so now apart from that, if you want to go inside the container, so I have shown you that command how to go inside the containers. You can run the docker exec command. Okay, and then anytime you want to stop the container, so we have the command like docker stop, docker start, then container id. You want to remove the container, you want to remove the images. Okay, so to remove the container we have the docker rm command. To remove the images we have the docker rmi command. Okay, and let me refresh it here. Okay, you want to check the status, you can go in the local domain as well. Okay, then you can go to your domain and then servers, server name. Okay, now you can say it is taking time because in the startup script we have given the 60-second of pause time. Okay, just to ensure that if admin server is not running, to wait for the admin server to come up, right? So we have given 60-second in our startup file. If I go here and let me show you, you can see here this is the script. We have given the sleep time of 60 seconds. That's why it's taking some time. So now you can see the log files are getting generated. So after some time you will see the server is in running state here. Okay, so now you can see the manage server has been started. Okay, so now we have a two container. Okay, one for the admin server and second for the manage server, right? So now you want to stop any the container, so you can just give the command docker and then stop. Okay, so whenever you are done with the exercise, then you can clean up the environment to save your resources. So this is the command that I am going to give, docker stop, and then the container IDs separate by space. Okay, so I'm stopping as of now the manage server and then admin server container. Okay, so once it is stopped, after that you can delete the container as well. Okay, now if I run the docker ps, nothing is there. So I can run the docker rm command, okay, to delete the container, right? Similarly, if you want to delete the images as well to clean up the space once your exercise is done, so you can run the docker rmi command and you can delete the custom image. Along with that, you can delete the image that you have pulled from the container registry. We can delete both images to save the space in our system. Okay, so now both the images also deleted. So this is the way how we can clean the environment. Okay, so now hope at least you have some idea of how we can run the WebLogic in Docker using the WDT tool. Okay, what is the importance of WDT tool, and you should have a good expertise on this tool as well. Okay, and very soon, as I said in the previous session as well, I am going to post a complete series on the WebLogic and Docker, where I am going to cover everything from the sketch, introduction to Docker, and then from implementation of Docker, and then how to create our own private images, how to pull the registry, the container registry images, how to modify the image, and then the different ways to create the domain and to start stop the container. So everything I'm going to cover in detail in the series that I will post very soon.